Okay, let's be honest here, this whole video is just one self-indulgent excuse to talk about Critical Role without annoying my friends in real life. I'm sorry. So, if you also don't want to hear me ramble about D&D for however many minutes, I recommend muting this video, putting on some cool music of your choice and just enjoying the art. It would be nice if you did. And with that being said, hi, hello, I'm Anay, and it's been a while since we talked like this. I mean, the last time I posted a Speedpaint was 4 months ago, and that one didn't even have a voiceover. And well, I really do enjoy making animatics. I do quite miss just sitting down and talking about whatever I want. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and especially since campaign finale of campaign 2 of Critical Role, that's a mouthful, I hate that, aired 2 weeks ago, and I have a lot of feelings about it, obviously. And obviously, a slight spoiler warning, I'll try to keep them to a minimum, but some of my favorite parts, storylines, and overall experiences are very much in the spoiler territory, and it would be impossible to avoid them. So if you don't want any spoilers, I recommend you click off this video and maybe watch campaign 2. It's really good, I promise, but if you want a more in-depth recommendation or just want to hear what I like about it, I recommend you stick around. So, I started watching Critical Role in January of 2019, around when episode 47 aired, if I remember correctly. Now, I don't know if I ever talked about this on here, but the 2018-2019 school year was probably the worst time I ever had in school, for many reasons. I had some pretty shitty times before, but like that one was not my favorite, to be honest. Without getting too into it, when I was finally getting better at socializing and just kind of recovering from my shitty time in primary school, I had to move across the country again, and kinda my whole recovery up to that point came crashing down. It wasn't that fun. Plus, it didn't feel like it was worth it for me to try and rebuild it at that point, since I knew I was going to move schools the next year too, because of like moving from middle school to high school. Anyways, so there was with basically no real friends, just kind of trying to survive through the year, not really caring about much, just wanting it to be over. Really, really over, just so much. When YouTube decided to recommend CR to me once again. Now, I heard about it before, but I never really had time to watch 4+ hours of content per episode, and there's a lot of episodes. But at that point in my life, there wasn't really anything better for me to do anyways, so I watched the first episode. And man, let me tell you, I automatically fell in love with it just that moment. Something about just sitting down and telling a story while laughing and being overall just excited to be there, like the energy those people had, it was amazing, like the whole cast. It just gave me so many good chemicals. They're all fantastic people, let's be honest. So, to say the least, I was very much invested in that story, like, since episode 1. Well, let's be honest, since Molly appeared on screen. Let's be honest here. I would come back from school and just kind of start watching it as soon as I sat down to draw. And I think before I catched up with the episodes, I could watch like 2 to 3 episodes a day. Obviously a bit sped up, but still. Now, I know this sounds kind of parasocial, and I'll be honest, maybe it was a bit at the start, but the show really gave me some kind of motivation to do stuff, draw, create, and just something to look forward towards the next day, which was rare for me back then. Like, it was that one kind of good thing in my life at that point. Yeah, now, I wish I could say getting into Krita automatically fixed all my problems. You know, I got more confident, I was the popular one, I could talk to everyone. That didn't happen, obviously, let's be realistic, but it did push me to do better, and it definitely helped me on my journey to get where I wanted to be. Like, it was just a big motivator and just kind of showing me what I wanted to be, what I liked about these people. I mean, if you know me nowadays, I'm definitely more open, talkative, and yeah, I have an absolutely amazing friend group and that I love dearly. And well, a lot of stuff helped me to get here. You can definitely see, like, a lot of the way I act and say and speak and just react to things. It's like, okay, this... They definitely watch CR. Like, you can tell that, and God, I hope this part made any sense at all. Probably didn't, but to put it shortly, Critical Role and the Mighty Nein specifically played a very important role where I was trying to figure out myself out and who I wanted to be and kind of moving forward and just building the person I wanted to be, which, you know, ironically is quite a common theme in the show itself, which, you know, kind of ironic, but nice nonetheless. But now actually getting into what I think makes the story so amazingly beautiful and not just talking about my experience. It's like, first of all, and something that still amazes me is that it's all improvised. There's no script. The players don't know what's going to happen in the story, and yet there's so many beautifully poetic moments and just so much irony in retrospect. I think my favorite bit of accidental foreshadowing is this one from episode 13. I mean, I think about this moment just a stupid amount. Because, yeah, it's funny in the moment, but when you actually get to the end of the story, you're sitting there like, wow, that bit is fascinatingly ironic. And it wasn't scripted. And, yeah, obviously that's a D&D thing. If a D&D campaign was scripted, that would be boring. But it's just... Man, I love collective storytelling of all sorts so much. I swear it's just such an amazing form to tell new and just awe-inspiring stories. And, yeah, I know Sierra, like, isn't the first one, and it won't be the last one. Isn't even the only fandom that does collective storytelling that I'm in, but I love it so much. You show me a story with collective storytelling, and I'll be like, yes, give it to me, please. But I do think, in all honesty, that the lack of uncertainty is a big element of what makes both CR and just D&D in general great ways to tell new stories. For example, let's take the events of episode 26 into consideration. I think we all know what happened that episode. I mean, the story wasn't leading there, obviously, since there isn't a script, and a bunch of unfortunate dice rolls, and suddenly the whole message of the campaign has changed. Because those events not only changed the goals of the characters, but also suddenly gave them a whole new world of possibilities for character growth and development, and just looking in retrospect on how that one shitty dice roll affects basically everything from there on out. I swear to God, most scripted shows I can't pull this shit off, like, half as well as they did. Now, this might be just a short side tangent, but really, take a random mainstream movie you like and try to find a moment that from there on out affects every bit of the story, because that's what I want to see when shows, for example, kill off characters. And let's be honest, if a major event in your story can be completely left out and doesn't change anything about the status quo, it's kind of weird. Like, if something big is going to happen, it should affect the story. And I'm not trying to say Critical is the only show in existence that does this kind of stuff correctly, but I wish it was more common, I think. Though, okay, even though I gush about how great this story is and about the potentials and everything, it's also very stupid at times, and man, it just shows that not everything has to be 100% serious to have those serious messages, and sometimes things can be stupid and jokey, and a Samantha book can be one of the longest running jokes in the series. It's fine to not take yourself seriously, and the nice combination of just incredibly poetic and just a bunch of people having fun that makes Critical so fascinating, so enjoyable to watch. It's just amazing to see all the possibilities, all the different ways the story could have gone, and seeing them end in a probably the most poetic and satisfying way it could have gone. And I mean, speaking of possibilities, can I just quickly say that Matt Mercer really created the most aesthetic school of magic in existence? Like, I'm definitely biased since, you know, space theme and also my persona for years literally being able to control space and time, but like, the Nemancy is genuinely, I still hate that word, genuinely, like, just pretty, and I want to have whatever the fuck Dynasty has going on. And I mean, apart from Gravity Sinkhole, my beloved, it's illegal for me not to mention my favorite NPC and altogether second favorite character Essek, second only to every cosplayer's worst nightmare, which is obviously Molly. Though being my faves is not very surprising, especially since you follow me on Instagram. I post about these two a lot. I love them. Both of them for completely different reasons, but like I could probably write a whole essay on like the Krita community's favorite war criminal, but other people have done a way better job and that I could ever. And I'm just saying I'll leave that for another day because I have emotions and I have feelings. But also, I mean, I think we can all agree that Molly, on the other hand, is just fucking great. Like, the vibes are immaculate. There's no essay to be needed. You look at that guy and you're like, yes. I swear, no matter how much it hurts me to paint it every time, I love the code so much. It's just chef's kiss there. It's great. I'm trying to make it right now, like, for a cosplay. It hurts, but it's so fun also. And I've seen some people disappointed over the ending and Kingsley in particular, but I generally really like it, and it feels like a good place to leave the character. Kind of bittersweet, because sure, he isn't exactly the same person that before, but like, neither are the rest of the Mighty Nine, since the last time they spoke. I mean, Ford has a different accent. That's basically being a completely new person. Plus, you know, the pirate aesthetic is also an excellent choice. Also, while we're on the topic of characters, I feel it's worth mentioning that the most popular ship on Tumblr last week, which is funny because it's better than Destiel, because screw you, Destiel. I mean, obviously I'm talking about Shadowgast, who do you think I am? Yeah, I know, I said I wasn't going to make a whole analysis about Essek, but like, man, these two are just really soft, and I will talk about them a lot, and I just think they're really neat. To be honest, I'm not really into shipping. I'm demi-romantic, so while I can see the appeal of a lot of couples, and I think some of them are cute together, rarely, if ever, I actually get invested in them as a pair. It's just the thing about me. Not this time though, surprisingly, because Liam O'Brien came into this campaign not wanting to do romance, but then created probably the softest goddamn love story I know of. I simply love it. It's kind of a quiet one and definitely a slow burn, but it just shows two definitely messed up people caring for each other and growing more comfortable with themselves, their past actions, and each other. And I just also it just doesn't play into the getting a partner will solve all your trauma trope, and that makes me really happy because I hate it. But like, I'm sorry, it's like 38 degrees Celsius right now, and my brain just can't think right now. And yeah, to summarize it, the last scene in the T-Dog area made me really sad, and I actually cried on it. Yeah, just in conclusion, sad wizards flirting are completely NA approved. We love to see it. Also, I just think the representation in this show is really neat. I'm really happy the cast is trying their best to show different types of characters. Obviously, they're not perfect, but I think they're doing better than most shows. We actually get canon queer couples. I mean, also an ROA's character in my favorite media, and his arc is not about his sexuality at all. It's just nice to see LGBT characters in stories that don't center around their identities and still leave room to show them being themselves, but also don't deny that part of their identities. Also, psst, hi, one of my friends, if you're watching this, you know who you are, but there's a lot of buff lesbians, and they're great. I think you would enjoy them a lot. I mean, let's be honest, all the characters are great. Generally, there isn't a single one. Why do I keep using that word? I hate that word. All the characters are great. There isn't a single one I didn't care about, except, you know, obviously the shitty ones like Trent. But like, screw him. I think that's enough rambling for today. Let's be honest, it's way too hot for me to think straight, ironically. But anyways, hey, if you've watched TR, what are your favorite things about it? Who's your favorite character? Do you think they should have done something differently about the finale, or just any part of it, really? And like, if you haven't watched campaign 2, but anything you heard here sounds at all interesting, I really think you would enjoy it, and especially if you're an artist or somebody who needs a lot of background noise when working, because yeah, it's a bit long, but the journey is worth it, in my opinion at least. Also, it's free, it's all on YouTube, it's like, thank you for the free entertainment. I love it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless, and I hope to see you soon, though my posting schedule in the past seems to suggest otherwise. There's still a bit of the Speedpaint to get through if you're interested. Otherwise, have a great day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!
see, baby, I never say, for I will fall into the light. Every time I try to breathe, the moon will rise and carry me, for I've loved and I have died. So I won't hold back, and you should know that what's never gone just have regrets. So I won't go back. Oh Lord, guide me to forget the time I lost with no regrets, and the moon shine back again. And the moon shine back again. When I drove down to abyss, while I blame the world's neglect, Lord, I shine right back again. So I